Good morning. We are just a couple of days away from Veterans Day, which is a time to honor all the veterans present and past. And I wanted to share with you today about Veterans Day and stuff like that. You know, for as long as I can remember, I've always known about Veterans Day because I had four uncles who were in the military. My Uncle Pete, who is still alive, my Uncle Louis, Uncle Richard, both passed within a couple years, and then Uncle Bill, which is still alive, and of course some other relatives, you know. So I've always known about Veterans Day. Every year we always talk about World War II veterans because they are the greatest generation, you know, in American history. 16 million veterans is what at one point totaled out to be World War II. And we are down to just over 200,000, and dropping about 234 a day. Roughly it's about 100,000 a year. COVID-19, we took a big hit because of the respiratory ailments that a lot of veterans over 65 have, you know, and so now we are just down to a few 100,000 from 16 million. And so if you know a World War II veteran, you know, you need to treat that precious gift that they are with respect and dignity, and maybe they'll talk to you about their time in the military. Like I said, Korea is going to be the next one up for people dying off. You know, they're not that far behind. And then Vietnam, you know, will come in there too. And so, it's a difficult thing to watch people who have been through so much, such as World War II veterans, go through their last few years. But, Veterans Day originally was Armistice Day, was officially received its name in 1926 through a congressional resolution. It became a national holiday 12 years later, November 11th, so still to be called Armistice Day as a war after World War I, a war to end all wars. But only a few years after that, war broke out. 16.5 million Americans took to the battlefield. 407,000 of them died. More than 292,000. The term finally in 1947 was changed to Veterans Day, and it was held on November 11th, the same day as Armistice Day. So it was 1947. In 1954, Congress passed a bill proclaiming November 11th as Veterans Day. And then 1958, two more unidentified American war dead were brought home from overseas and joined the war. One soldier, one from World War II and one from Korea, and eventually one from Vietnam. And of course in 98, the one from Vietnam was identified, and so it remained empty as a salute to the Tomb of the Unknown. Law in 1968 changed it to the fourth Monday in October, and soon became apparent that November 11th was a day of historical significance, and so Congress in 1978 turned it back. The focal point, you know, national cemeteries all around Arlington and stuff. Arlington now, today, visitors will be able to lay flowers at the Tomb of the Unknown, just as dignitaries and other people have for decades. And this is the first time that this has happened in a long time, and it is in celebration of the 100th anniversary of the Tomb of the Unknown. And if you think about the last 100 years of the history that the Tomb of the Unknown has witnessed in Arlington, you know, the soldiers of the Tomb of the Unknown and the people that come visit and stuff, it's just a magnificent hollow place. And you know, with Veterans Day now always on November 11th, regardless of what day of the week it is. So sometimes it is difficult for people to get off from work and stuff. Some companies don't let people off. Some schools, I was really surprised moving to Texas that some of the school systems don't let kids out for Veterans Day. In fact, they don't talk about Veterans Day. And that is one of the initiatives with Carry the Load. They are trying to have people volunteer and go into schools on Veterans Day and have a Veterans Day assembly so that they can at least let the kids know what it's about. Because, you know, as I've talked about the veterans in the past, you know, there used to be, you know, back in the 90s and 2000s, early 2000s, there was a veteran in almost every family somewhere in there. And then most people knew a veteran. You know, now less family, less people know. Because just what you think with social media that you would be able to communicate better with veterans and stuff, but it's not that way. You know, social media is actually a hindrance because it takes us away from what we're focusing on, you know. And so, you know, I've known veterans all my life, of course, because I had relatives. I still have relatives, you know. And, of course, my son knows a veteran, you know, my wife, you know, and I know thousands of veterans, you know. But, you know, Veterans Day, a lot of times people do confuse it with Memorial Day. It's not really rocket science. Memorial Day is honor the dead. Veterans Day is the honor the living, and Armed Forces Day is the recognize the active duty National Guard soldiers, current, you know, reserve, you know. So, but it's interesting sometimes, you know, with that confusion. I put a thing on my Facebook page, you know, showing you what the three holidays were. So this time of year is a time for veterans to get recognition when they should be getting it year-round. You know, I do on occasion because I wear my hat nearly every day. You know, mainly because I got a bald head and I don't like my bald head, so you know I can wear a hat and hide it. But I wear my hat almost every day, and I would say in a given week I'd probably have 3 people. Of course, living in a metroplex area, you know, you're going to get that. Thank me for my service, and I just say thank you, and I walk on because there's nothing else for me to say. I don't owe them anything else. They don't owe me anything else. They took the moment to recognize that I'm a veteran. You know, I encourage you. I put it on my Facebook page. I'll repost it again. The freebies, meals, and stuff. You know, I'm going to start off at Denny's and get me a Grand Slam breakfast. Move the cotton packs for lunch, and then dinner I'll be at the house with something I pick up on the way home from one of the freebies. You know, and I like doing that because, hey, you know, I'm entitled to it. I earned it. You know, blood, sweat, and tears, and all that. You know, but you know, getting back to Veterans Day, you know, it's last year, of course, everything was totally shut down. We were a little bit doing things, but we really wasn't. You know, so completely different this year. You know. Veterans Day parades, I've already seen them this past weekend. You know, I'm going out to Denton, out to Aubrey, Texas for Foraging Festival to be with TC from Bears Produce this weekend. and talk about volunteering and stuff, and going back to times that I remember in my military career with Veterans Day. I remember us doing funerals on Veterans Day when I was doing funeral detail at Fort Hood. And of course, in a couple weeks, I will hit the 17th anniversary of the Black Hawk crash at Fort Hood, where I lost 3 friends. And so, of course, when Veterans Day gets there, I know that anniversary is coming up too. But I can remember on Veterans Day doing funerals because people had waited. If their loved one had died close to Veterans Day, they waited to have it. So I think I did 2 funerals that day in Texas here. Not really any more significance or any less significance. It's just that's what they chose. I spent Veterans Day in Iraq, Afghanistan, Kuwait, Korea, Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, and being in Chow Hall, we of course had a big spread because of Veterans Day. But just like any other day, we're doing our job, because that's what we do. It's just like anything that happens, the next day we get up, go to work. 9/11, I talked about it before. 9/11 happened. It was a crazy busy day for us. We were in the field, we were trying to get out of the field, we're trying to get our Blackhawks back in. And as soon as I got back in, my boss told me, hey, 4:30 tomorrow morning, open up the chow hall. So I opened up the chow hall, and I kept doing my job because that's what we had to do. We had to feed soldiers, and we had an unusual situation. I couldn't get my cooks on post because of the traffic, because Fort Hood shut down the four gates. And, I had to pull cooks out of bed, and, everybody was locked in. So they didn't have a choice about where to go eat. They had to eat in down chow hall. So, I had to plan more than I usually would feed. But that's what we do as veterans. And just like, November 11th, there will be military working around the world because that's what we do. Every day, 365 days, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, forever how many years, that's what you do. Just like for me, 20 years active, 9 years National Guard, that's what I did, So, but for people out of the military now, veterans and stuff, it's not just about a day off. It's about being remembrance of veterans in your life, veterans who are close to you, reaching out to people. One of the things with veterans, get tongue tied here. One of the things we're getting into now is darkness. Time changed this past weekend. It's getting dark earlier. You're having longer periods of darkness, and suicides go up because that darkness comes in. It starts playing with the mind, and it starts messing with your emotions, messes with your sleep pattern, it messes with everything. Anytime that there's something comes in that changes that flow in your life, and you have to respond to it, reach out to people and talk to them and say, hey man, I'm having trouble sleeping or whatever. They're like, yeah dude, I got the same problem. Y'all talk about it. Being a peer support specialist, I'm always listening to conversations, but I'm listening to what's not being said. What they're not talking about when I know that that's on their mind, and that's something that I have, it's just like active listening, okay? I'm not active listening, I'm actively hearing. I'm looking between the lines to see what they're not saying, because if you hang around your friends, when things are off and when things are going south. I encourage you, during the holidays coming up, that's another big thing. So you have the darkness, you have the holidays, and you throw those two together and you get that perfect storm. you know, and it's difficult for people to get through sometime because of that darkness in their life. You know, that darkness becomes a reality, and you need to fight that darkness off. Your activities. Keep doing your activities. You know, you may have to schedule activities a little earlier in the day if it's outside, you know, but keep doing your activities. Keep doing your self-love. Keep doing self-care. You know, all of those things are important, and they become more important when there's more clutter, more white noise that comes into your life that you need to block out, and you need to not listen to, and be able to get through that, you know. So, you know, I hope y'all have a wonderful Veterans Day in a couple of days. I hope that y'all can, you know, find that veteran, thank that veteran for what they did and stuff, and, you know, just enjoy Veterans Day. And next week we're going to be talking about locus of control. Locus of control is where your control is. You know, it's like two circles, one small, one big. The small circle is yours. What's inside that circle is what you control. What's outside that circle, you can't influence, you can't change, you can't do anything to it. But we still have that external locus of control. So you need to focus more on that internal locus of control than focusing on the outside circle. You can't do anything about it. A lot of people spend more time of their lives trying to change something that they have no control over, you know, and it's frustrating, it's disappointing, and it's going to lead to anger, you know. I mean, that's just what it is. And so this is another thing to look at, you know, especially with now things in full bloom. You know, we're going to games, going to parties, going to whatever. You know, you're going to be pressured to go to more events because you missed those events. But remember to do self-care. Don't overexert yourself. Don't put yourself too far out there. Control what you control. Don't let other people push you into that. Don't let your wife say, honey, let's go. Your kids. You know, and I know in this crazy world we're living in, you know, things can get out of control. But you got to be able to bring that circle back down to what you can control, and don't let it control you. You know, two ways to live your life. You either control what's in your life, or the things in your life control you. You know, which one you want to do. I want to control the things in my life. So, that'll be it for today. Y'all take it easy and have a good week. Thank you.